What's up? What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome back. It's been a year. Well, it hasn't been a year since you've seen us. It's Ricky Widmer. I'm joined with my line mate for today, my winger. Right? You'd be a winger, I'd be the center? Or really, would I be the D man? Would I be on D?
Yeah, you're just giving me those
Big,
feeds up.
Do I have the big body blocking the net, laying out sideways?
Yeah, just
blocking those shots.
Toss me the puck down the sideboards. You're good.
Just call me Drew Doughty, right? It's the first D-man that came to my name. It should have been Alex Piccolangelo. But I'm with JD today. We're talking NHL. It's the Stanley Cup Playoffs. We did it last year, and you might say, Ricky, why are you wearing a football shirt when we're talking Stanley Cup? Well, first off, I don't have a Golden Knights shirt yet. That's the one thing I still haven't gotten. I've talked about for months, JD. I need to add more shirts to my repertoire. I need to buy more shirts. Guess what I have not done, JD?
Golden Knight shirt.
I have not bought any shirts.
You gotta get a Stanley Cup
regardless.
Golden Knight shirt.
You know what? I feel like I had to wait the year because last year was my first official year as in the fandom. Dude, I don't want to seem like that. I don't want to seem like that bandwagoner because I'm
claiming
not,
it.
Like I'm not like yes I was a Kraken fan. Joined the Golden Knights last year because my girlfriend's a Golden Knights fan. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to join the fandom so we have a team to root for. And then they win the Stanley Cup. Don't want to say it was me, but I think it was me. We're hoping to, the Golden Knights Twitter account put out today. To win the cup is sublime. To win it twice is divine. Does that happen?
Fire.
We'll see. But, yeah, don't have my Golden Knight shirt. Don't have one, so I recorded a mock draft today. So I got my Viking shirt up. But JD, we're talking Stanley Cup playoffs, and both of our teams are in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I got to say, Congratulations.
Congrats.
One of us seems very more excited for their team than the other one. Even though one of them has somebody who almost had 70 goals on the year, and the other one just snuck into the playoffs as the 8th seed, although we're getting healthy. But before we get into everything, quick housekeeping, Discord link. If you want to be a part of the greatest community in the world, the MVP Discord, click that link down in the description. You can also support us on Patreon, get some cool perks, those down below as well. Hit that like button, that sub button. JD and I will be going all year long. And JD, now that the season's over, we're not just going to give you predictions for the playoffs after every round. Guess what we got to start scheduling after next week, JD? Guess what we get to do now that the season's over?
Stream
NHL mock draft, baby.
Oh, the mock draft.
We get to talk about the NHL draft now after the NFL ends next week. Also, if you're a football fan, we'll be live for the NFL draft, so come and check us out Thursday and Friday on that. But JD, let's get into everything for today. How we do this, we're just looking at the first round. We're going to go through every matchup, kind of give our thoughts. At the end of the show, we're going to go through each game or each series of the first round. What JD and I like to do is we like to give our prediction, this team and how many games. And we have a little competition. Who's going to get more points? You get 1 point for getting the team right. You get 2 points for getting the series right. JD, I believe I get to do this because what did I do last year?
You won.
I won, so I get to put the crown on my head, a little LeBron James style. What does he do? He does it like this, and he puts the crown on his head. That's what I'm doing because I won it. We'll see if I can go back to back like my Golden Knights did last year. But JD, I ask you every year. I'm going to ask you again. Do you want to start in the East or do you want to start in the West?
If I remember correctly, last year we started in the West, so let's start in the East this time.
All right. Starting in the East, I will let you pick a number for the first one, 1 through 4.
4.
Number 4. This is the series. I'll be honest. I don't know how to gauge this series. You got the Washington Caps, playoff team. By the way, JD, I got to give you one of these. I got to give you a standing O, because you were right, my friend. Do you remember what you were right about?
The Red Wings not making the playoffs.
The Red Wings did not make the playoffs.
Nope.
The last time we talked hockey, you stood on your soapbox and you said the Red Wings were not going to win and we're not going to be this wild card spot. And guess what? It's the Caps.
And I know we're not going to talk about them, but the thing I need to get out there is I was watching those last 2 games against Montreal and Detroit. And it really confirmed everything I had thought. Both teams. I'm sorry, Ricky. Get your pen out.
Oh, wait. Oh,
hold on.
No. Wait. Oh, he's gonna swear. He's gonna make work for me. Give me a second.
Both teams.
Give me a second. Oh man, I thought we were gonna go all the way through. Go ahead. You're good.
Both teams suck. They were not good teams. The Red Wings, again, they're a young team. Had some good players coming up. With Lucas Raymond, proved me wrong because I was starting to think he was going to be a bust. Ended up having a good season. Seider, again, you know what you're going to get from him. He's a really good defenseman. Patty Kane was a very nice surprise, and then DeBrincat kind of dwindled out towards the end, and then kind of picked it back up.
He did one of these. He went.
Yeah. So, but again, that team had 0 goaltending. Their defense. I mean, I tried telling Red Wings fans that Justin Hall was horrible, and they're paying him $3 million a year to sit in the press box. So I mean, I don't know, man. If I get it, Red Wings fans love Steve Yzerman, but
dude, the Yzer plan, baby. They're going by the Yzer plan.
I mean, man, the Yzer plan's moving at a snail's pace then and making some questionable decisions. I'm okay with it because I used to be a bandwagon Blackhawks fan. So growing up in Chicago, I'm fine if the Red Wings are dog water. And I'll end it on the Red Wings with saying you guys have some decisions to make in this offseason. I mean, you guys don't have that much cap, and you have tons of RFAs and UFAs to re-sign. So, but then also the Canadians, they also suck. I mean, that's a bad hockey team.
Caulfield, Suzuki, that's about it.
Yeah.
Like I know, I was gonna say South because I can't say the rest of his name.
Yeah, he
probably the only 3 bright spots. Armina, maybe. I think it's how you say it, Armia.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of just like a veteran guy now, but I mean, the Habs still have, in my opinion, quite a ways to go.
Well, and also you got that Toronto-Montreal rivalry, so don't expect JD anything to say anything nice about the Canadiens.
I mean, I'm not biased though. I can admit when like a team is decent, you know, like I might be doing later. But
so starting with the Caps, they played the Rangers. Here's the thing, JD, that I look into this. If my memory, I'm gonna try to do the season series off the top of my head. Because most of them, I'm pretty sure I remember how they did season series. Okay. This one I know was split. 4 games, 2-2 each. I don't know how I feel going into this because everything on paper, roster, record coming into like the last 10 games coming into the playoffs, the stats, everything says, oh, the Rangers should win this series. But there's a part of me that I look at the Rangers and I go, they're a good team. They're a great team on paper. But I think there's a possibility that if one of the top teams gets knocked off in the East, it's the Rangers.
Yeah. See, I think a lot of people are discrediting the Capitals because they had a negative 40 goal differential. But the thing with, again, the reason why I kind of felt more confident in the Capitals to make the playoffs was over the Red Wings is because they also had that veteran experience, right? They won a cup in 2017. Obviously, not all the players from that team are still on that team.
Yeah.
But Ovechkin can get it done when it counts, which is what he did. I mean, he ended up finishing the year with 31 goals, I think. And he struggled mightily to start the year. So good on him. I get the Charlie Lindgren, the unsung hero for that team in that nobody, I mean, sure, you might have heard of him hopping around the league, but nobody really thought he would be that guy.
Yeah.
And for the for the Capitals to do something and make some noise in the playoffs, he's gonna have to stand on his head because that
Mhm.
team still like they sold at the deadline and they still squeaked in, which is good.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, yeah, but like the Rangers, they have Shesterkin in net, and Shesterkin's had an unreal season. They have Panarin, they have Zuccarello.
Panarin also this is one of the stark differences between these teams, JD. Panarin, leading scorer for the Rangers this year with 120 points this season. Do you know who and how many points is the leading scorer for the Capitals this season? If you had to take a guess top of your
Oh,
head.
wait, how many points or who
How
it is?
many points and who it is?
It's Dylan Strome,
And how many does he
and
have?
I like 70.
You're just off 67. He is
Yeah,
just over half of
yeah.
Panarin's points this year. Now, Panarin, he's a guy, like looking at his lines for points per game, he was always an over under 1.5 kind of guy. You're
And
always
also,
betting on him to have 2 points a game in
I
those
said
books.
I said Zuccarello. I meant
Mhm.
Zibanejad. I don't know
Yeah.
why I had Zuccarello's
Yeah.
name in my head, but
Zuccarello, he's on the Wild, right?
yeah, I'm
Minnesota Wild,
pretty
who's
sure.
not in the playoffs. But like when I say these teams on paper, JD, I wanted to pull this up. So the points, obviously, Rangers had more points. They have a better record. But like goals per game, Rangers are scoring almost 3.5, 3.39. Uh, the Capitals only scoring just over about 2.5 a game. Goals given up per game, Rangers are giving up just over 2.5 a game. The Capitals give up 3 a game. Power play percentage, the Rangers are better on the power play. The penalty kill is about almost even, but the Rangers are killing 84% of their penalties to where it's like, I look at this and I go, okay, the Rangers should be able to beat the Caps in round one. The only thing that I look at is if the Capitals, like you said, they've had some bright spots this season. They have Ovechkin, who is one of the greatest players ever to play this game. If they can just, because I did look it up, I was right. They did split the season series 2-2. Washington won in Washington, New York won in New York. If the Caps can steal one game in New York, this series is a brand new series. I don't think this series goes to 7. That'll spoil my prediction at the end, but this is one that if the Capitals can just steal either game 1, game 2, this could be a very dangerous one for the New York Rangers.
Yeah, I think that's the key, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think yeah, because the Rangers start at home. So if the Capitals really want to make the Rangers like, they tense up a little bit, they got to steal probably game one.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I say that is because again, the Rangers had such high expectations last year
Yeah.
and obviously fell short. So
Mm-hmm.
if the Capitals can put a seed of doubt in their minds, I mean, they could make it a long series. I can easily see a world where that happens, but I just the Rangers, in my opinion, like they went through that hurt last year,
Mm-hmm.
and not. I mean, I know they're one of the favorites to win the cup, but I feel like not a lot of people are truly
Mm-hmm.
penciling them in to win.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna fuel them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like this will be a series that I'll be honest, the Rangers should be able to get by, but this was the one, like I said, it was like a toss up to me that I'm like, I don't know. Like my hot of hots was like, oh, the Rangers should win, but the Caps, they should be able. I'll ask you for the podcast sake, do you want to give our prediction for the series after we talk about it or wait till the end?
I think after we talk about it, it's
After we
fine.
talk about it, then I'll ask you, how do you see the series going?
For all the good things I said about the Caps, I have the Rangers in 5. I don't see them taking one of the first 2 games at in New York, and I just think Shesterkin's going to be standing on his head, and he's going to be the sole reason why the Rangers move on and potentially have a deep run.
Great minds think of like. I've got Rangers in 5. I think that the Rangers are going to steal, instead of the Caps stealing one in New York, Rangers are going to steal one in Washington. It'll probably be, the way I look at it is, Rangers will jump out to a 2-0 lead. Like, they'll jump out to a 2-0 lead. Caps will play fired up in game 3, playing at home. They'll win game 3. Rangers will come back, win game 4, win game 5. Boom. We're moving on to the second round, boys. That's just how this team should win in 5 games, and I couldn't make it the other way around for the Caps. But next series we're going to talk about, JD. This is one where I feel like could have an yet again, could see the road team of the series winning, but I can't, there's a part of me that goes, the team coming in that's the home team should be favored. We've got the Islanders as the road team playing the Hurricanes at home. If we're looking at the stats, Canes score about half more goal a game, 3.38 to 2.99. Caps give up less. Their big thing is their defense, giving up 2.57 goals per game compared to 3.15 on the Islanders side. The Hurricanes are 20, what is it? On the power play percentage, it's a 26.91 to 20.39. And the Hurricanes are killing 86% of their power plays compared to 71.49 the Islanders. I look at this series, JD. One thing as a gambling man, I may hammer the under every game this series. 2 reasons why. You've got a team in the Hurricanes where their defense is their strength, and then you got a team in the Islanders where their offense is their biggest weakness. I don't think the Islanders are going to score enough goals to win this series.
Who's that Pokemon that they do is just they go into a shield.
There's 2. There's Metapod.
Yeah, Metapod.
Metapod and Kakuna. Metapod.
Yeah, dude, that's what this series is. It's gonna be like 1-0 games.
I'm thinking 2-1, like 2-1, like 2-1, 3-1, 1-1. Yeah. Like, I don't think we get over, like, if we get a 5-goal game in this series, that's a high scoring game. If we get a 3-2 game, that's high scoring.
Yeah, I mean, good. When we went back to that video when we were talking about like the playoffs and everything, like to make it, I had the Islanders making it in as well, but man, I just wasn't super impressed with them. Just down the stretch, I mean, they are who I thought they were. Like, good on them for making the playoffs.
You say not impressed. They are 8-1. They are 8-1 with then a loss in the shootout. So what? 8-1-1 or 8-1-0-1?
Yeah. Well, no, it's still, if they have a so they have a loss in the shit. So yeah, 8-1-0-1.
Hi, everybody. Just want to take a quick moment out of today's podcast to tell you about our sponsor for today, BETUS, a sports book that has it all, whether it's basketball, hockey, football, soccer, whatever you like to bet on, BETUS has you covered. And they are offering our viewers and listeners today a 125% sign-up bonus just for using our link down below in the description. So go ahead, use that link down below and get your 125% sign-up bonus, BETUS. And now, let's get back to the podcast.
Yeah, I know. Like, they ended the season good, which, in my opinion, ending the season hot, it really just depends on how you got there. Like so with the Panthers, right? The Panthers, they were struggling really until, I forget, I think it was like the middle of March last year. And then they went on a heater, which carried them. But I think it's because the guys in the room that they had to where it carried them. Like the Matthew Tkachuk, the Aaron Ekblad, I'm pretty sure he wasn't injured. I think he was playing. But like Bobrovsky, like all those guys, they're a very big vibes team, and I think honestly they carried those vibes to
keep the vibes up, boys. Keep the vibes up.
Yeah.
Positive vibes, boys. Positive vibes all the way around.
Yeah, but when it comes to the Islanders, like, they've been better for the better part of the last 5 years, even when they were good. Like, those years that they were making, like, the second round, and I think they even made a conference finals appearance once, but they were always just that defensive team that's going to smother you. But they
Yeah.
still had some offense. This year, like, they have no offense, and their defense isn't as good as it used to
Mhm.
be. So, sure, they're 8-1-1, coming into the playoffs, which is
Mhm.
good. But when you go up against a team, like the Hurricanes, I just don't know how that's going to like translate if you're going to be able to carry those vibes and momentum
Mhm.
when you're playing a team pretty similarly to yourselves.
By the way, the Hurricanes, they are coming into the playoffs 3-7 in their last 10. And let's be
Mhm.
completely honest, should be 8-10. The only reason why that like they should be riding a 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They should be riding a 6-game win streak into the playoffs. The only reason they're not is because on the 16th, their last game against Columbus, they were just like, yo, boys, all the starters, hit the bench. You ain't playing tonight.
Yeah.
Well, you ain't playing tonight against Columbus. Take a rest. We're resting you for the playoffs. And they lost 6-3.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. But what I do want to say with the Hurricanes too is this season, like if you go back to previous seasons, they've
Because
been
they
a
were
high.
they were a series away last year. It was
Yeah.
them and the Panthers in the the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got swept or they lost in 5 or
Well, the
something.
Panthers were on an unreal run
Yeah.
until the Cup.
Yeah. So the Hurricanes, they've been a team that is going to outscore their problems, but now I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what happened because they haven't lost much offensively, and but they're just not getting the goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is going to be a real like it's going to just be a real grinding series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you like high octane hockey, you're going to be bored of this series, quite frankly.
But if you love fundamental defensive
Yeah,
hockey,
yeah, yeah.
if you
And it'll
love
be
goalies, dude, if you love goalies standing
and
on their heads.
yeah, like it'll be interesting to see how the goalies play because
Mm-hmm.
I think Frederick Anderson's back and healthy now, I
Mm-hmm.
think. But again, as a Leaf fan, I love Frederick Anderson. But once it got to the playoffs, there were some times that he stole games,
Mm-hmm.
and there was times that he couldn't stop a beach ball.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how he performs.
That'll be a problem
I
later on. That ain't going to be
yeah,
a problem for the Islanders because, like we have said, they have almost zero offense.
yeah.
Unless his name is Brock Nelson.
Yeah,
Because
I don't know if that's
lately
the
it
case.
seems like Brocky Boy and Horvat are the only ones that can score.
Yeah, I mean that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Who do you got winning? Why? How many games?
I have the Hurricanes winning in 6 games. Um, like I said, I just think they have more of the star power. Um, they're they have more offense, and I think honestly, like it wouldn't surprise me to see the Hurricanes actually flip the switch from
Mm-hmm.
being that high defensive team and just finding something that works offensively in these playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a chance that they'll be able to. They might even have some big wins this series.
Go
What?
ahead, finish your point.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they might even get some bigger wins this series. But yeah, I good like I said, good on the Islanders for making it. Not a lot of people had them making it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I they need to figure out their offensive system
Yeah.
in the off season. They're just a nothing, a complete zero on offense, and I think that's not going to benefit them in the playoffs.
Just so everybody knows, JD and I did not collaborate before this. I have zero idea what his predictions are. He has zero idea what mine are, except for one series. But you guys will
Yeah.
get why that one series. We know each other's prediction. The reason why I say this, JD, is through 2 series, Canes in 6. I almost wanted to change it because you and say Canes in 5, but I'm going to stick with my gut. Canes in 6. This is just because they're the better team on paper. Doesn't mean that they're going to roll through. I see it. They could roll through and win in 5. But they could also slip up and the Islanders can steal too. I think the Hurricanes are the better team. They're going to move on. But that series, it could be a short series. Could be a 6-game series. This is probably not going to 7. Canes will probably get it done before that. But so far through 2 series, you and I, no disagreements on the predictions.
I mean, I don't think people can really say anything like, oh, we definitely talked about it, because I just think if you look at these Eastern Conference playoffs, I just feel like they're pretty predictable.
Pretty chalk?
They're pretty predictable, you know?
Well, let's get to the one that's uber predictable, maybe. JD, your Maple Leafs going up against your arch nemesis, the team that has given Toronto fans nightmares for millennia, the Boston Bruins. Here's a little bit tail of the tape. You've got Boston giving up less goals per game. Both these teams, 3.21 Boston, 3.63 for the Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs scoring more. However, Boston's only giving up 2.7 goals a game. The Maple Leafs are giving up 3.18. Power play advantage goes to the Leafs just barely, and penalty kill, the advantage goes to Boston just barely. Leading point scorers, David Pastrnak, the Pasta Man. He had 110 points. Austin Matthews, of course, 107 points for the Leafs this season. JD, I have to ask you, as a Toronto fan, 2-part question. Question 1, how nervous are you because you got the Bruins in round 1? And question 2, can the Maple Leafs get by the biggest criticism of this team that, yes, that first line is great, but after that first line, the depth just ain't there for the Leafs?
I'm going to be pretty boring and say no. I'm not nervous.
You're already defeated coming into this series.
No, I'm calm because and I'm not trying to be a loser and say this. It's something I've actually thought about.
Not trying to hide your emotions.
No, it's such a loser thing to say. It's such a loser thing to say, but it's a win-win for me because
it's like me with the Bulls.
I don't want to say this and like go on a whole tirade with the Leafs, but like I will talk about this series, but I'm just gonna say if the Leafs lose this series, Brendan Shanahan, get your ass out of town. See you later. You've been here 11 years and you've won 1 series, and you fired your GM who actually wanted to change the core 4. You fired him because he was coming for your job. So you can pack your bags and leave if you lose the series. And then with and again, and then that being said, the core 4 will get broken up. I said it last year. Again, you could recycle this.
You guys did pay Nylander, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that leaves one guy that will get moved.
Tavares?
Mitch Marner. No, Mitch Marner. We can't move Tavares. He's like 31 or 30.
I was like, you're not going to move Austin Matthews.
No, exactly. So it's Mitch Marner. And in my personal life, I've kind of been a Marner hater. I just don't think he's playoff built. He just has body, and he's a great player when it comes to the regular season, but he needs to prove me wrong in these playoffs. But yeah, I mean, he's due for an extension, and I mean, I don't think we should give it to him. So you got to try and trade him in this offseason if you don't win. And if you win, great. It doesn't matter. But yeah, but with so that's why, like, I'm just like, it's a win-win. And the people could be like, oh, JD, well, how do you know that this is going to happen? If it doesn't happen, then this team will just continue to be a joke, and MLSE could not give a flying F about the Maple Leafs organization. Because what's the common denominator here? This one guy has been in charge for this long. We've been through we've been through like 3 head coaches and bunch of players, and the one remains the same. So yeah, but with that being said, I mean, with the Bruins, they're not as good as last year. Last year was their year,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they have pretty much in every category they have the Leafs beat. Like you said, the Leafs depth isn't that great. That's not
Mm-hmm.
even my concern. I'm not concerned with the offense whatsoever, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, my concern comes from the defense and the
Mm-hmm.
goaltending. So Jeremy Swayman and Linus Ullmark for the Bruins are head and shoulders above Samsonov and Joseph Wool. I
Mm-hmm.
love Joseph Wool. I think he's going to be a great goalie going forward. Just not that guy right now. He's especially now he's struggling.
You're not that guy,
Samsonov,
pal? Is that what you just hit him with? You're not that guy,
not
pal?
not yet, not yet. He was great in last year's playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
When Samsonov got hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and he was great to start the year, and then he got hurt again. He got hurt this year. But Samsonov, I don't trust whatsoever. I didn't trust him last year. He
Mm-hmm.
proved me wrong in the first round, but then either he was injured or he just played like crap. And this year he's been up and down. I mean, started
Mm-hmm.
off miserable, played great, and then he struggled the last 2 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
So I give the edge there to the Bruins. And then the Bruins, I'm again, they have weak center depth, like really weak center depth in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But they play they play Bruins hockey, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna grind you down. They're gonna get timely goals from their third line players. It's just what they do. So the Leafs are gonna have to they got to figure out something on the defense because for as much as they added on the defense with Ilya
Mm-hmm.
Lyubushkin and Joel Edmondson,
Yeah.
I said it during the trade deadline video. You just got really slow on the defense, and you have guys who cannot move the puck.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Those guys have added grit back there, which is something we needed. But there's been so many times I've been watching Leafs games since that deadline, and I just here's the oncoming forward. Around the defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go, and then 2-on-1 goal. So it's just they're so slow, and I think the Bruins will eat them alive on those
Mm-hmm.
on the transition. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say, man. Like the Leafs,
Here.
they're a good team. They did better. Sorry, I'm just gonna finish
Yeah.
up by
Go
saying they
ahead.
did better. They did better than I thought they would have this year. Because coming into the year, they were crap. Tyler Bertuzzi has a
Mm-hmm.
chance to really be a playoff performer, but I mean, I don't know what else to say here.
Well, that's where I'll jump in
Yeah.
because one of the things from you talking, and this is more about what you were saying beginning with the core four, and then you talked about Mitch Marner and like, oh, he's got to step up. It kind of sparked something in my head. And I'm going to relate this team to a different team. Not saying they're going to be the exact same, because this team is one of the greatest
Mhm.
teams in my life that we've seen. But I kind of look back to the Blackhawks in the 2010s. Go back to the 2010 Stanley Cup. You had your core four. Jonathan Taves is your Austin Matthews. Patrick Kane, he's your William Nylander. I would say Marian Hossa is your Tavares, that veteran that you got to be that playoff presence. That's why the Blackhawks got him. Not
Yeah.
exactly why the Maple Leafs, but he's that veteran
Yeah.
guy of that core four. And then I would say Duncan Keith is either Duncan Keith, Patrick Sharp. That's the Mitch Marner, that fourth one. I know Duncan Keith is a D man, but he would be that's the difference with it. But you look at that playoff team. Patrick Sharp stepped up that year, had 11 goals for the team. You look at Dustin Byfuglien, who I don't think anyone knew who Dustin Byfuglien was going into that year. You had Dave Bolin, you had Chris Versteeg, Brent Seabrook, Nicholas Hjalmarsson. These guys that are not that top four. What did they
Wait,
do? They stepped up.
was Dave Bullen on that 2010
He
team?
was. I'm looking right here. He was on the 2010 team and then he got moved. Byfuglien went to Atlanta to be with the Thrashers. They traded him.
So then you guys brought Dave Bolin back when he
Yes.
he got the cup because then we signed him after.
Yeah, Dave Boyle. So from what I'm looking at here, let's see, the teams that he was on the Blackhawks until 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Then
so
went to
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys for a
Yeah.
year. Then went to Florida for 3 years before ending his career.
because we gave him way too much money because he scored the cup winning goal.
Yeah, Bufflin, we ended up trading. He went to Atlanta, played for the Thrashers, who then became the Jets. Versteeg, I believe Versteeg we either sent or he went to the Panthers in free agency. Yes, I think he was the Frolik trade because Frolik used to be with the Panthers.
Oh, so we traded him to you guys because Christopher Stieg was on the Leafs.
Yeah.
So
because Versteeg was huge for us in 2010.
Yeah. I have a signed picture from him.
But then like I look at the 2013 team and it's just like how Brian Bickle had 9 goals for that team in 2013, the year that the Hawks beat the Bruins.
Yeah.
Bickle played amazing. Sharp stepped it back up. You had Frolik gave us great minutes. Andrew Shaw. No one even knew who he was the first time they won the cup. Boylan was still there. Brandon Saad had great minutes. Even though Saad only had 1 goal, 5 assists, he made his presence. Like, you don't have to be on the stat sheet to make your presence known. The thing is, this is the other thing with this series, to get off the Leafs to go to the Bruins. When you were talking about Bruin hockey, JD, coming into these playoffs, I was like, you know what team I don't like to go all the way? The Boston Bruins. There's just something about them. They're either really good or really not that good. They're not as bad as like the bottom feeders, but they're either really good or wow, I don't like them. Then I saw that
lost Ottawa.
Then I saw that was the 2 games and I was like, oh, I don't know if they're them. Then I saw they got matched up with you guys and I went, well, they're gonna win round 1. They gotta. I can't have them lose in the first round because they're playing the Maple Leafs. Like, it was one of those like, well, looks like they move on. And I will go first this time. That's what I have. I got Bruins in 7, just to put the little PTSD into all the Maple Leaf fans out there.
Yeah, and I feel bad. I told you this actually. This is the one series where I kind of showed my hand talking to Ricky before the show. Because I said it last year. I said, okay, I'm not picking the Leafs to win because they need to prove me wrong and win a series. Well, they won a series. They proved me wrong. Well, this year, no, I'm going against them again. I think Bruins in 7 because it's the Bruins. I mean, the Leafs have not beat the Bruins in a series since like 1954 or 1957, I think it was.
About 40 some years before I was born.
Yeah, I mean, so sorry guys.
So wait, they haven't beaten the. Let's put this into perspective, because history majors can correct me. I believe World War II ended in 1945.
Yeah, they did.
So they haven't won a series again. Yeah, September 2nd, 1945. That means they haven't won a series against Boston since just after the Second World War.
Well, I said 57.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 47.
Yeah,
close enough.
57.
12 years after the Second World War. It's pretty close.
Yeah. So, but no, I didn't know that until recently, right? But until like the other day. But yeah, I mean, but not just for me being, I'm a depressed Leafs fan. No, I just
I mean, you are.
But you look at the team on the paper, teams on the paper, and
teams on the paper.
Yeah, on the sheet of paper.
Not teams on paper. Teams on the paper.
And I just ultimately think the Leafs are going to have fits scoring on this team, and their defense is just going to get cooked. Their defense is going to get absolutely obliterated because they are slower than molasses. So I do think, though, this is the one thing, not to be like, oh, it's okay, guys, participation trophy. I do think that this series is going to be super entertaining The Leafs actually have some snarl in their game now.
Well, both these teams are not going to like each other, which will make it fun to watch.
So if you've never watched hockey at all, this is a series you're going to want to watch, and you know.
JD, last first round series of the East before we go over and manifest destiny over to the West.
Yeah.
The defending Eastern Conference champions, the Florida Panthers, going up against the Tampa Bay Lightning. This is a series I am very intrigued about. I really like the Panthers. I also like the Lightning. This series was very hard to pick in my mind because both these teams, I would have loved to have been able to say, yes, you go to the second round. My only concern with the Panthers is that, so overall, they're scoring about the same a game. Lightning give up more goals per game. The power play goes in favor of the Lightning. The PK goes barely, it's almost 50-50, but it just goes in fairness or in advantage to the Lightning. This Panther team, the only thing I say about them that I question is it seemed like when they made the moves they made at the deadline, like bringing in Tarasenko, it didn't have the explosive effect that we thought it would, because this team pre-deadline and post-deadline, I think I liked them more pre-deadline. Post-deadline, I think they kind of scraped their way by and are not coming into these playoffs with that same momentum they had last year, and we're going to see if that's going to be a detriment to them.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. With the Panthers, but I said it during the deadline video. Sometimes it takes a while for those new pieces to click, and I think that's what happened with Tarasenko.
Yep.
And I think I even actually directly pointed that out for Tarasenko.
Yeah.
But yeah, I genuinely don't know what to make of this series because it's the Lightning, but it's it's the Panthers. I mean, for the last 2 years, they've been one of the best teams in hockey. They're a pretty complete team. They don't have really any holes. And with the Lightning, they're the Lightning, but they're older now. Like they're a lot older.
Yeah.
So it's really tough. I mean, John Cooper, the Lightning head coach, he's, I mean, in my opinion, he's probably the best coach in the league. So I'm sure he'll get the Lightning ready to go, and dude, honestly, like, it's really tough. It sucks that that one of these teams has to get eliminated. Because I could see them both if they weren't playing each other.
Moving on. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to add with the Maple Leaf series, you guys have never beaten Boston this year. They swept you 4-0.
Yeah.
When it comes to Tampa and Florida, this year they met a total of 3 times. Florida won the first 2 meetings in Tampa, and the most recent meeting back in March was in Florida. The Lightning won it. But this series has a potential, like I said with the Hurricane series, that bet the unders. This one might be one, even though you have Big Bob and Vasilevsky. Is that how you say it? Vasilevsky. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Even though you have these great goaltenders in net, especially Big Bob, you look at the games this year between them, and let me see how many games these two play before I just spout off nonsense. So in game 1 between these teams, it was a 3-2 game. Both of the starters were starting. Game 2, it was a 9-2 Panther win. Big Bob was in net. However, Jonas Johansson was in net for the Leafs. For the Lightning. So take that off the table. And then both of them were in net for the March 16th game, and it was 5-3 in favor of the Lightning. Like, these teams have the potential for offense, that if they can get goals by these goaltenders, this could be a series where it's like bet the over. Bet the over, or the line might be 6.5 or 7.5 instead of your like 6.5, 6, 5.5.
Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing. Like, both these teams can shut it down on the defensive side if need be.
So it makes it so hard to pick.
Yeah, exactly. But both teams can also score. I mean, the Lightning, I don't want to say they rely heavily on their special teams. But it's going to be interesting to see because like Stamkos has done almost nothing 5-on-5.
Yeah.
So, but again, he's a playoff guy. I'm sure he can turn it around once, the lights turn on. And with the Panthers, I mean, dude, they just play playoff hockey like every night. Every night is playoff hockey for them. So, and like guys like Kachuk and Nick Cousins, those guys, like, they just get the greasy goals, right?
The greasy goals.
Yeah. So it's man, I feel bad for these teams. They're like, and even the winner of this series, they're gonna be hurt going into the next.
Who's it gonna be?
I basically give it like a 50-50. Like,
flip that coin, JD. Flip that coin.
I'm gonna say Lightning in 7.
Oh, let's go! Finally, we disagree on something.
It's the thinnest of margins. Like, you
said 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
And it's not. And people are gonna be like, "Oh, well, the Panthers beat the Leafs in the playoffs. That's why you're picking against them." No. And I know. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Don't sound salty without trying to be salty.
No, it's literally, dude. The only reason why is because I have more trust in Vasilevsky than I do Bobrovsky. And that's a theme. Like, if you have a great goaltender, you're gonna go far. Not saying Bobrovsky isn't gonna be good, but I just think we're gonna see a resurgence from Vasilevsky. I think Stamkos is gonna actually be effective now that's playoff time. And I just think with that experience, even though the Panthers made it to the Cup Finals last year, the Lightning have obviously a bunch more experience, right? And I think that's just going to be enough to will them past the Panthers in this round.
For me, I've got Florida in 6. So we're different on both occasions. I like this Panther team. I just like this Panther team. And like you said, there are questions about the Lightning. Me and you are totally like, I am so happy we're finally on different pages, because you're like, oh, I love Vasilevsky. I don't know about Big Bob. I will ram my head through a wall for Big Bob Borowski. Like, Big Bob or nothing. Big Bob, Florida team I love. They have a chance to go back to the Stanley Cup Finals in my mind. It's just, can they get things going? There's 2 teams that I love in this Eastern Conference playoffs, and that's the other team. Carolina and Florida are the 2. Florida's one of them. So I just spoiled maybe what one of my series is going forward. But JD, let's move over. Let's manifest destiny. Let's move over to the Western Conference. The first series we have, the Dallas Stars, the best team in the West, going up against the reigning, defending, undisputed champions of the NHL, the Vegas Golden Knights. First off, is that weird to you? That like the Raiders, Las Vegas, the A's, Las Vegas, they're going to be like, everyone's like Las Vegas. The Golden Knights are like, no. We don't need that loss. We're just the Vegas Golden Knights.
I mean, they
think I
still
kinda
are
like it.
technically the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Nope, they are not. You look at their team as just the Vegas Golden Knights. They are
Really?
not referred to as the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
weird. It's weird because the Raiders are the Las Vegas Raiders. Golden Knights are the Vegas Golden Knights.
Ah.
You're like,
I don't like that.
I think it's kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but like, it's not the.
It's not the city. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
The city's Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's like if you were the Ronto.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. That the Ronto Leafs.
Like, the Ronto Leafs. But this is a team. Both these teams, they met last year, Western Conference Finals. Goals per game, Stars barely have the advantage. Goals against, the Golden Knights are giving up more. Power play goes in the Stars' advantage. Penalty kills right down the middle, 50-50. We look at their series this year. 3 matchups, all won by the Golden Knights this year. JD, this is something that's an interesting matchup to me because, one, the Stars are just like the Hurricanes, like we talked about in the East. They are coming in 8-2, coming into the playoffs. They've been a great team throughout the entire year. They're a strong team. But then you got the Golden Knights, who love them, hate them for what they did at the deadline, love what they did at the deadline. This is a team. Hurdle the Ninja Turtle has been playing great since he's come back. Hannafin, they took the night off in the last night. He should be back ready to go. And this is a team that should be getting Piccolangelo back. They should be getting Mark Stone, who's going to be ready for game 1 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. How rough is this series going to be for the Stars? Because it ain't going to be a cakewalk for any team in my mind.
So I just want to confirm. So, because I'm looking at Daily Faceoff.
Yep.
So, Carrier, Pietrangelo, and Mantha and Stone and Hannafin are all supposed to be back.
So from what the Golden Knights announcer said last night when we were playing the Ducks, Stone should be good for game 1. They're expecting Stone and Pietrangelo good for game 1. Hannafin was just taking the last game off, see if he'll be ready game 1, and then Carrier, they didn't say a for sure game 1, but they're expecting to get him back during the season or during the series.
Okay, yeah. So
forgot about Carrier too. That's a good point out. I forgot about Carrier.
Yeah. So with that being said, like I think it will be a tough series for both teams. I do like the comparison of the Stars to the Hurricanes. But I do think the Stars have more offensively when you look at their 4 lines.
Yes.
They're a very complete team.
Yeah.
So but this series is going to be a bloodbath. I mean, I know not a lot of people are high on the Golden Knights because they kind of were on the struggle bus to make it to the playoffs. But again,
you have no idea, my dude.
Yeah, dude, I was so much higher on them at the trade deadline, but again, they made it, and this is what they were gearing up for. So I think we can't look past them. But again, like Jack Eichel was great last year in the playoffs. Marchessault is a playoff animal. Barbashev, playoff animal last year for you guys. Hurdle the Ninja Turtle, love the guy. I think he's going to be a great addition for the team. So it's my big question for the Golden Knights is, are they going to be able, are they going to have that same goalie magic as they did last year? Because before last year, Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson, I don't know if Logan Thompson was an NHL player before last year.
Before last year? I don't know. Last year
Yeah. I know last year.
Yeah. Okay.
But so I don't know what to make of the goaltending. I'm sure that was my question for them last year. I remember that, and they proved me wrong.
Yeah.
So I just I worry about the injuries starting to pile up for the
Mm-hmm.
Golden Knights. Like I know that guys are taking time off, but some guys are coming back from injuries, and
Mm-hmm.
the ability or the possibility to get re-injured is serious. But I guess that's not something you can really plan for.
Yeah.
But with the Stars, I again their defense is good, but it's not amazing. Like
Mm-hmm.
they play good team defense,
Mm-hmm.
but their actual defense, I think, is where the Golden Knights can expose them.
Yeah.
Um, so it's going to be a bloodbath, though. It's going to be a pretty crazy series.
This is one for me that I feel like, just like with the Maple Leafs on a different level, how the Maple Leafs have to get over their demons of the Boston Bruins in the first round, the Stars in a way have to get over their demons of the Vegas Golden Knights. Because if I'm the Stars last year, I'm looking at it going, not only were we one series away, you could do that thing where it's like, well, at least we lost to the Stanley Cup champions or the champions. But there's a side of it to where, like, if I'm the Stars, I'm looking at it going, we were one series away. And the Stars, based on how the Panthers played in the finals, the Stars would have beat the Panthers. That Panthers team in the finals was not the Panthers team that we saw all the way through. I don't think anyone expected, neither of us expected them to lose in 5 games
No, I
like
think
they did.
I could be wrong. No, I think I had the Panthers winning.
And
Maybe.
that last game I looked up today was a 9-2 game in game 5.
Really?
Yeah, it was 9-2
Oh
in
man,
that
I
game
forgot about
5
that.
game. Like, the Golden Knights shut the door that game. But it was because, like, after seeing the score, I remember it because I was texting my girlfriend, like, we're gonna win. Like, there's no way. Like I believe it was like 4-1 at one point. And I look at the Stars and it's like, yes, they're more offensive than, like I said, with the Hurricanes. The only comparison is like they're coming in with a streak. They're playing good hockey. The Golden Knights, it, like you said, coming in with injuries. If you lose game 1, obviously most of the time the team who wins game 1 wins the series, but you can overcome a game 1 loss. If you lose game 1, game 2, okay, that's harder. If this team isn't clicking right away, that could spell disaster. I am going to go yet again. I am a Golden Knights fan, JD. So I'm going to go on the side of positive. I am picking the Vegas Golden Knights to win this game, win this matchup. I got Vegas in 6.
Yeah, I have Dallas in 7. Now, if I remember correctly, I've been
Mm-hmm.
high on Dallas. I'm pretty sure I had them winning the cup last year, and that definitely
You
didn't
did.
work out in my
I
favor.
think no, I had the Avalanche.
No, yeah, you had the
Yeah,
Avs.
the Avalanche. Which
So
we'll get to them. We will get
yeah,
to them.
my reasoning though is
Mm-hmm.
if you remember, if you watched that trade deadline video, I kind of hinted saying that the Golden Knights were probably gonna be my Stanley Cup favorite,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, my Stanley Cup favorite. But no, they've struggled. They
Mm-hmm.
haven't been on the same page because guys have been in and out of the lineup,
You
and I
said
just think,
Dallas in 7, right?
yeah, and I think with Vegas, they're not gonna come out. I don't think they'll come out the gate flying because
Mm-hmm.
you have guys who are just trying to get reacclimated to playing hockey,
Mm-hmm.
and they're playing playoff hockey.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think Ottinger is gonna be. I love Ottinger. That's my bias with Dallas. As he's my favorite goalie in the league right
Mm-hmm.
now. But I think Jason Robinson's gonna have a great playoff. Rope Hines is always a good playoff performer.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Mason Marchment, again, playoff dog. So, I mean, it's going to be a tight series, but I have Dallas in 7.
The next series, let's take a look at the Avalanche versus the Jets. JD, you mentioned it. The team I had winning it all last year was the Avalanche. Did
Mm-hmm.
they win it all? No, they did
Nope.
not. JD, the 180 I have done on the Avalanche in 1 year. Last year, I thought they were going to win the cup and cruise to a cup final. This year, JD, I I do not like them at all in this series. And the reason why, I know they have the names, they have the like on paper, like this series, Jets and Avalanche, is kind of like the Capital Ranger one in my mind, where on paper, the Avalanche have the name, the Avalanche, all the stats go in their favor. But JD, there's two things. One, as of late heading into the playoffs, I love this Jets team. They have won 8 in a row heading into the playoffs. They won every game this year against the Avalanche. Is it going to be a sweep? No. The Avalanche will get a game, maybe two, but this is a series, JD, that if you're trying to find your, and I lost the clicky cap to my pen. If you're trying to find your Florida Panthers for this year, look no further. You found them. Winnipeg Jets. These are your Florida Panthers, or the team that has the potential to be this year's Florida Panthers squad of last year.
Yeah, the Jets are a team that was a lot better than I thought they would be. I was not high on them coming into the year, but the addition of like Gabriel Velarde, he's clicked in with that team. He's been a great addition. You have
Sean Monahan.
Yeah, Monahan. Monahan, he struggled a little bit, but he's stepped it up. Alex Iafallo, great. Nino Niederreiter, good on that third line there. And then their defense won't blow you away, but they're just steady, which is good. I mean, I don't know why so
but they
many
got
people...
the goaltender too to win the cup.
Oh,
Hellebuck?
yeah,
Hellebuck?
Hellebuck. And well, I was just getting to him. Hellebuck, again, I mean, it's not really a shocker, but he's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's the best goaltender in this series.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have the makings of that. I don't really want to say underdog, but I'm gonna say it. That
they're an underdog, even though they're the home team. They're the dog in this.
That underdog like kind of mentality.
Mm-hmm.
But I know people are lower on the Avs, and for good reason. I mean, they haven't performed, but again, you reunited Jonathan Giroux and Nathan McKinnon from their Halifax days.
Yeah.
Again, you got Mikko Rantanen, who, if I remember, I think he was injured at some point this year.
Was it Rant? Yes. Yeah. You're right. He was injured at some point. They also had another injury too.
Yeah. Well, Landon Scogg's hurt. I don't think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not.
Was it Landon Scogg? I gotta look it up. I'll look it up.
Well, then Sam Girard's injured.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been the big thing with the Avalanche is injuries and goaltending not being great. Like Georgiev, he has moments where again he's spectacular and moments where he just can't be in the net. So you bring up some valid points.
It was Arturi Lankinen in December, missed about 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was watching a game, he got injured, and they said that it's going to hurt because he was their like leading power play scorer.
Yeah, but I love their top three lines, the Avalanche. Like that third line of Miles Wood, Ross Colton, and Zach Parise is pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just it's definitely an interesting series. Before actually sitting down and thinking about it, I thought the Avalanche it wouldn't be a question, right? But the Jets, I mean, they've played some really good hockey, and again, if you look at the names on paper, they're not going to blow you away for the most part, but they just get the job done.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it's just I'm on the other side. I love this Jets team. Like it is I know this is gonna sound hypocritical because I didn't do this with the Ranger series. I'm basically all the stats that are on paper, I'm basically doing this, JD. And I'm throwing them away. Throwing them away. Because it doesn't matter here. Really, it doesn't matter in that Caps Ranger series that we predicted earlier. But this is one where I feel like the Jets, it is like you said with the Panthers. Vibes are high, bro. Vibes are high. Put the pucks on the net. They're a team that has been playing red hot hockey heading into the playoffs. And that's why, JD, I can't go, even though the three lines are stacked for the Avalanche, they have all the names, they've got Nathan MacKinnon, one of the best players in all of hockey. I gotta go with the Jets. And I'm gonna surprise you here. I might surprise you here, JD. Jets in 5.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say that's a big surprise.
I feel like most people are gonna say 6 or 7.
Yeah. But I have the Avalanche in 6.
Okay.
So again, my reasoning for it, and I'm pretty confident.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't to discredit what the Jets have done because they've
Mm-hmm.
proved me wrong. I did not think they'd be a good team coming into the year. But I just don't know how much I buy them going on the same run that the Panthers did, because there's a reason why we were shocked that the Panthers went on the run. And that's because it doesn't always happen like that.
Yeah.
Especially in hockey.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely, I could see a world where that does happen, but I just think especially we didn't really touch it, but the lack of center depth that the Jets have is my main concern. Like
Okay.
Brad Lambert, he's been a pleasant surprise, but he's their number one center right now.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're going up against Nathan MacKinnon, he's already top 3, top 2, whatever you want to say, player in the NHL in the regular season.
Yeah.
Once he gets into the playoffs, he turns into another level, which is scary. So I can't bet against the Avalanche in this series.
Yep. The next one, I feel like I don't want to be, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say this will be a cakewalk, but I feel like out of all the Western Conference series, this is the one I feel most confident about with my pick. We have the Canucks. We have the Nashville Preds. JD, even if, let's say maybe you're not picking the Preds, Predator fans, Nashville fans, what should be their mindset coming in? Because this is one to me where I'm like, oh, Vancouver will win and they'll move on.
I mean, you have the better goaltender in the series. Again, I know I keep mentioning goaltending, but
it comes up huge in the playoffs.
But in the playoffs, it really, really matters.
Mm-hmm.
And UC Saros has had an unreal season.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he's proving to be one of the better goalies in the league. And again, it pains me to say, but like Ryan O'Reilly has been amazing for the Preds. He was a third line player on the Leafs, and people kind of thought he was on his way out, and he kicked down that door, and he's like, "Nah, I'm still that guy."
Mm-hmm.
So that, again, your top line is very, very good if you're a Preds fan. I loved Philip Forsberg for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't have to tell Preds fans how good he is. Ryan O'Reilly is a great two-way player, like they know. And Gustav Nyquist has kind of revitalized his career. If I'm not mistaken, was he not a Golden Knight for a little bit?
Say the name again.
Gustav Nyquist.
I don't think so. Let me look it up. Yeah, I don't think Nyquist
I forget where Nyquist was before coming to the Preds. But I remember, like, people kind of thought, like, okay, well,
he was in Minnesota last year.
Oh, Minnesota, okay.
So basically, when he got to the NHL, because he was with the Grand Rapids Griffins for a while.
Yeah, he was with the Red Wings.
The Red Wings in 2011, 2012, was with them in their AHL affiliate until 13-14. Then he was with the Red Wings until 19. Traded over to the Sharks. Went over to the Blue Jackets for 3 years with the Wild last year, Preds this year.
That's right. Yeah, so I mean, Red Wings fans, I only know this because I have a cousin who's a Red Wings fan, but Nyquist was supposed to be like that guy to kind of to come in and change that team around, but he hasn't quite lived up to that hype. But again, he's had some down seasons, and he just fits in with the Preds. He's a responsible forward. He's a good playmaker. So, and even you're like your top 2 lines for the Preds are pretty decent, you know. But and then you go to your defense. Obviously, you have Roman Josi, Ryan McDonough, who he's been fine. He's been pretty decent. And Luke Shen. I mean, it again pains me to say that. I love Luke Shen. I wish the Leafs brought him back. I love
former
Luke
Leaf, JD.
Yeah, and he's kind of proven to why the Preds gave him the money that they gave him, right, on that third pairing.
Yeah, it's just this matchup. I'm just going to jump in real quick. It's like, I'm not saying the Preds are a bad team. I'm not saying the Preds don't deserve to be in the playoffs. That's not what I'm trying to insinuate. Yes, you could say the Canucks are kind of shaky heading in. It's just all of the great names, Forsberg, Josi, McDonough, all these guys that you bring up for the Preds. I just love the swag of this Canucks team, especially like this team in my mind, led by JT Miller. I absolutely love Miller. Like he's got that. It was a game that they were playing, meaningless game. I think it was against Calgary. And the only reason I know this is I needed him to score a point. And they were up. They had just given up a goal. And he just takes the puck away from one of his own, goes up, and just an FU slapper right in the top shelf over the goalie's shoulder, just ding, right into the net. And it's like this team has a certain swag that I'm like, yes, let's go. Like Pettersson's good. He's been kind of adjusting because the Kuzmenko. Adding him, team is just like the Panthers had to adjust a little bit, but it's like this team was obviously the best in their division for a reason, and they're going to be really hard to beat. I just don't think the Preds have enough of an answer to win 4 against this Canucks team.
Yeah,
because you got to win 4 games to move on. Like it's a tall order, I think, for the Preds in this one.
Yeah, and without fully giving my hand away, that's where I agree with you.
Yep. How many games?
I mean, okay, yeah. So I have Canucks in 6.
Okay.
But that's the thing. Like, I respect the Predators a lot. Like, going into when I was talking about them, honestly, I'm not as high as most people are on the Canucks. But it's hard to say like that they're not the better team and that they won't win this series because on paper they are the better team. They still have good goaltending, and I mean Quinn Hughes on defense is he's an animal, and I think their offense is going to be too much for the Predators to kind of withhold,
and that's exactly why I got Canucks in 5.
Yeah.
Yet again, I will say this, and this will play my hand for the next series. No sweeps. I don't think we get any, I know that's bold. Sometimes there are sweeps that happen. I just don't think a sweep happens this year in the first round.
In hockey, it's much more rare for sweeps to occur than like basketball or something.
Like that has to be a huge mismatch.
I got one. I got. I mean, maybe I got others, but I remember one vividly. I got a sweep right in 2014.
Yeah,
and it was bold because the Jets made the playoffs. They had a really good regular season, but I picked the Ducks to sweep them, and people are like the Ducks.
Yeah.
Like they Jonas Hiller in net, and I mean they weren't that great, but I'm like, the Jets are unproven, and the Ducks were that like veteran team who've had deep playoff runs, but they were kind of on their towards their back legs.
Yeah.
And I got it right. I was like, let's go.
JD, our last matchup before we get into it, we got the Oilers, we got the Kings. I said before we recorded, JD knows nothing of what happened the last day of the regular season. JD, I'm going to take you down a story time real quick. A little bedtime
Let's just say this first. I didn't miss the last regular season game just because I had other.
No, you were playing some playoff hockey. You could say it.
Yeah.
You were a road warrior.
Yeah.
You were on the ice peppering him. You were peppering the goalie.
Yeah.
Shots on net, boys. Get those shots on net. Hey, when in doubt, high off the glass. Yeah.
Just dump and chase, bud.
She's a beaut. So these matchups were almost very different in the West. And I say that because Dallas Vegas was almost Dallas LA, which meant Edmonton wouldn't be Edmonton LA, it'd be Edmonton Vegas. Here's what happened, JD. So earlier in the night, the Vegas Golden Knights lost 3-1. Vetrano had a hat trick against them. Eichel's the only one that could score. The Vegas offense was non-existent against the Ducks, which concerns me. But the Ducks, hey, they had Vegas's number this year. I think they beat us like 3 or 4 times. I think it was like 3-1 was the season series. But the Golden Knights, they lose. The Kings are playing the Blackhawks. They are up 3-1 heading into the third, JD. The Blackhawks in the third score 3 unanswered goals to go up 4-3. So you're sitting there, we're going, I'm like, oh, they might lose. We might get the Oilers. Dude, with a minute, I think it was like a minute 44, minute 42, the Blackhawks do this stupid penalty where they dump the puck over the glass.
Yeah.
They get a power play, or the Kings get a power play. Before the end of the game, like right after that happens, scores a goal. They tie the game. All right, it's 4-4 going into overtime. And dude, Kempe, 6 seconds into overtime takes the puck, goes, I end this. 6 seconds into overtime. It's that's crazy. I think they said it was like one of the fastest, I think the fastest overtime goal ever in like Kings history. Like it was 6 seconds. He literally took it and then boom, there's the shot right over the shoulder of Soderboom. And that's why we have this matchup. It was ridiculous. They were up 3-1. They blew it. I was like, oh, the Blackhawks could win. Then I'm like, oh wait, the Blackhawks suck. I forgot they suck.
Oh no, we suck again.
They are one of the worst teams in this league. But Oilers, Kings, this to me is an interesting series only because I think out of all the series in the West, Golden Knights aside, because I don't know, I look at Golden Knights differently. This is the series that could be an upset. Like to me, the Oilers have all the names, but this Kings team, if they can get good goaltending out of Talbot, this is a series that the Kings could win because yes, the Oilers have all these great names, but let's be honest, JD, who's one person on this Oilers roster who's not that good? I'll give you a hint. His first name is Stewart. His last name is Skinner.
Yeah, that's always the issue with the Oilers, man. I mean, their defense has gotten better, but still not great. And their goaltending is shaky.
Do you want to hear the worst part about it? Yeah. In my mind? So last game of the season for the Oilers against the Avalanche, they sit all their big name forwards. They go, we're going to start Stuart Skinner. It was 4-1 after 1 and he got pulled. They ended up losing 5-1. It's like, yeah, okay, let's kill the dude's confidence heading into the playoffs, huh? Let's just kill his confidence heading in.
Yeah. It's definitely an interesting series. Again, full disclosure,
Because
I
I'll be
don't
honest,
love.
I don't like either goaltender. Like that's why I say
No,
if they
well,
get good goaltending out of Talbot.
yeah, well, because it's a revenge series too.
Yep.
Talbot's former Oiler goalie,
Good point.
but
Good point.
but yeah, I mean, it's so tough to like. You can't bet against McDavid,
You
but it's
can.
just, I mean, you can,
It's
but
a free country. Well, I'm in a free country.
yeah, I don't know about myself, but I mean, hey.
First Amendment, baby.
I mean, it's just again, you have Draisaitl, you got Hyman, who had a career year,
hmm
McDavid, um, but yeah, it always falls back to the depth of the Oilers. Like
hmm
Evander Kane has been like a zero for like the second
Yeah.
half of the year, and the goaltending has been horrible.
hmm
It's been awful, and again, they might have gotten lucky that they're playing the Kings, who started off the charts. The holy crap, the Kings won like 11 straight games or 15 straight road games or whatever it was,
hmm
and then now they're just like they just kind of hit a lull, and
hmm
then but they built up such a big gap at the start to where it didn't really matter. But
If you're
it's
the
just
Oilers, who would you have rather played, the Golden Knights or the Kings?
probably the Kings because the Golden Knights have been the Oilers' kryptonite. And
Good
just
point.
like the
Good
the
point.
the Whalers have been the Knights' kryptonite.
hmm You
So,
mean the Oilers have been the Kings' kryptonite?
or yeah. Um,
Because yeah, that's right. This is the third consecutive year these two teams are going to meet in the
yeah, and
playoffs.
the Whalers beat them every time.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I get it. Teams change,
hmm
but it's gonna be again like I feel like most of like the games, not
hmm
necessarily the series, but the games that are played are usually
hmm
pretty close.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. Like they're exciting games.
hmm
Um, but with the Kings, I mean, they just need more star power, man.
hmm
Like Quentin Byfield's been a good player for them this year. He's starting to
Scored
come
three.
into his
He
own.
scored three in the finale.
Yeah, he's coming into his own, and he could
hmm
be one of the best power forwards in the league. Um, it's just it falls back. They need goaltending. They haven't had a good goaltender since Quick. Um, Quick left when he was in his
hmm
prime.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah. I just with me, I'm on the other side in this one. Like I know all the names are with the Oilers. I just look at this team like maybe it's because this year I've watched a lot of the LA Kings. Like they've had Kempe has been awesome, Kopitar's been awesome. You mentioned Byfield, Kevin Fila. Is it Fila? Fiala.
Fiala.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm bad with names, but Fiala has been probably their best player, I would say. Like this is a team that I feel like if I was the Oilers, yes, you could say, oh, they've been the Kings kryptonite. I would almost want to play the Knights only because of the injury questions heading in. But like if I'm the Oilers too, I don't think it matters who I'm playing because I really think the goaltending is not going to be solid for them. Like this is a series I will say, and this will play my hand. Whoever wins, it's going to be a 7-game series. I think this is going to go the absolute wire because the Oilers have the name power in the forward department, but this Kings team is a grinder, and they are going to grind this series out. The star power for the Oilers is going to bring them so far, and JD, I'll spoil it. In the end, Kings in 7.
Dang.
Kings in 7.
Yeah, I would love to pick the Kings in this
Mm-hmm.
series. I really would, and I might hope that they do win. But I'm picking the Oilers in 6.
You know what
I just
I absolutely love, by the way, really quick.
what?
Remember how I said in the East, like, oh, this is boring. We're all picking
Yeah,
the same. After those first 3 series we talked about, we disagreed. Every series in the West, I have one team, you have the other.
yeah. And
Oh wait,
again,
no. Vancouver.
no,
We both have
yeah,
Vancouver.
yeah,
So
Vancouver.
like what? It's the exact opposite. We're different on one in the East, but we're different on almost all of them in the West.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, but like that's the thing. Like the Western Conference was just a meat grinder of just it's unpredictable.
I'll say you could make an argument for, let's see, seriously, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 teams, 4 for sure, maybe 5, but you could even make some type of an argument for every one of these teams to be in the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, or at least conference final. I mean, like that's the thing. Like again, I say it all the time, and this isn't a rant. Like I'm not going on a rant about this on the hockey podcast, but that's the thing I love about the NHL, man, compared to like the NBA. In the NBA, you have bad teams who make the playoffs because there's zero parity in the league.
Yeah,
and even the like a 5 seed in the East is garbage compared to the top 2 seeds.
Yeah.
In hockey, the good teams make the playoffs, and even some good teams miss out on the playoffs.
Yeah, and the NHL doesn't need a play-in tournament.
No.
They don't need a play-in tournament like the NBA.
But again, the NBA, I love the NBA. I love basketball, and it is it is objectively a better league than the NHL. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
But the one thing that hockey has over any other sport, in my opinion, is playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs are
there is nothing like the Stanley Cup playoffs.
No. Zero. And that's coming from somebody who's fallen out of love with hockey.
Really? You've fallen out of love with hockey?
It used to be my first love, but I love football more now, man. I still watch hockey.
Football's always my first
love. I still don't. Okay, maybe not falling out of love. I'll
say hockey's my second love now.
Yeah. I mean, it goes football and then like hockey and then like basketball.
I feel that because basketball used to be my second love and now it's not.
Yeah.
Like it used to be football, basketball, baseball. Now it's like football, hockey, baseball, soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer's now in the repertoire. It never was before. But yeah, I got the Kings in 7. JD, to wrap this up, you can catch our brackets. They will be up on at some point while this is up. They'll be up on the MVP page. I'll put 2 pictures of JD and mine's bracket. But JD, just here at the end, all you have to do is we're just going to give what our finals is and who wins. You don't have to say in how many games.
So my finals is going to be the New York Rangers against the
against If you're gonna move to America, we gotta teach you the right way to say things. Against
the Dallas Stars. I think I picked the exact same series or Stanley Cup final as last year.
You did,
but but I'm feeling confident about this one.
I think I had last year. Did I have Avs Bruins?
Yes.
Was that who I had last year?
Yeah, you did. I remember that. Yeah.
You have Stars Rangers. Did you say who wins?
No, I was about to.
Okay, go ahead.
The Rangers win it this year.
So, Rangers win the cup. Both of us think the winner is going to come out of the Eastern Conference. And I will say I'm only picking the winner from the Eastern Conference because I was wrong last year. So I'm fine being wrong this year. However, both the teams I picked last year didn't make it. So I'm going to be upset and probably jinxing myself. I'm going to say the Carolina Hurricanes win the Stanley Cup over the Vegas Golden Knights.
Dang,
there's something about this Golden Knights. There's something, and the only reason is because I didn't want to jinx it. After you said because originally my gut, I said, oh, the Hurricanes, because they've had our number this year. Then I was like, no, I should back my team. And then you said, oh, you picked the Avalanche last year. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to get bounced in the first round.
No.
Because last year I picked the Avalanche to win it all.
Oh, to beat the Bruins?
Yeah, I picked the Avalanche to win it all last year. I was very high on the Avalanche.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do that. So I almost changed and I didn't. Hurricanes over the Vegas Golden Knights. I just feel like the Golden Knights, it's like the eclipses when the planet, like the Greek myth of like when all the planets line up. That's what this is. Stoner's coming back. Everyone off of injury. It's like the Avengers Endgame. These portals are just opening. And out comes Mark Stone. And out comes Carrier. And out comes Michelangelo. To where it's like, you know what? This team, things might not click, but I'm going to ride them till I die. So yeah, I'm going Vegas, but they're going to lose to the Hurricanes because I honestly think the Hurricanes are one of the better teams this year. But that is going to do it. Let us know what you guys think down below about everything. JD and I will be back after each round until the whole thing is over. We'll be giving a second round preview, a conference final preview. We will even be doing a Stanley Cup preview. Let us know what you guys think down below. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, check us out on Patreon, join the Discord. JD, it's going to be a great time. We got NFL draft all next week. JD sir. And I on Monday, if you're NFL fans, we're going to be live doing a 3-round mock draft on the channel. That's going to be about 6:15, 6:30 Central Time. Then we're going to be live for rounds 1, 2, and 3, Thursday and Friday for the NFL draft. So join us there as well. Want to thank everyone for watching, listening to this hour-and-a-half preview for the Stanley Cup playoffs. It should be a great time. But as always, I'm going to end this with my tried and true saying, have a good day, everybody.
See ya.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.